Hello LinkedIn land, and welcome back to episode 7 of my GDPR top tips series. Those of you wondering, no, I'm not wearing the same shirt every day. I recorded a few of these videos back to back because it takes a bit of time to put the subtitles and stuff on them now. So today's a slightly different episode 7. I'm talking about hoarding and the dangers of hoarding. That'll probably take up my 5 or 6 minutes today. And then I'm going to look on afterwards what you can do about it in the next episode, which will be about the values of retention and disposal schedule. Now, this is something that big organizations kind of get, but the smaller you tend to get, the less it seems to matter to them, or they don't realize that it's a problem. And this is the whole concept of hoarding things and keeping things just in casey, just in case somebody asks for it, just in case I might need it, or just in case for whatever reason. So that's the kind of things I'm talking about, and it's the dangers of hoarding. So let's go straight into what I see are the major dangers for a business of hoarding, bearing in mind the privacy agenda. Well, first of all, we won't talk about privacy at all. We'll talk about the basics, health and safety. If you're hoarding lots of paper in a storeroom, it's a fire risk. You know, it's a trips and falls health and safety issue. Again, if it's not being properly documented, if it's not being properly curated or stored, just being chucked into boxes and chucked into a storeroom, the chances of it actually being usable when you come to get it out 10, 15, 20 years in the future are almost nil. There's no point keeping it if you can't do anything with it at some stage in the future. So those are just the basic issues around you know, the safety of the storage, etc. Again, we'll take our fictional storeroom or porter cabin out the back where everything's just been dumped for years and years and years, and its filing cabinets. You've got absolutely no idea what's in there. Not the foggiest. Oh yeah, it might be the invoices from 2003. You've got no idea what those invoices are, who they involve, what customers they have, no idea what personal data, if anything, might be in there. And that leads you on to the next thing. If something goes missing or somebody was to, God forbid, actually steal something, you would have absolutely no idea it was gone. And when it's gone and it's in somebody else's hands, and the first you hear about it is when somebody comes knocking on your door to ask you how you lost X, Y, and Z, it is very difficult to do any form of damage limitation. So it's very important to know what you've got. And most people just don't know what's in these storerooms or files. And trust me, your computer or your hard drive or your off-site storage is absolutely no different. It's got lots and lots of stuff on it, and you think you can find it all because it's on a computer drive, or just use a search or a keyword search or something like that. No, unless you've got great file naming, great metadata settings, and all the rest of it, it is just as difficult to hunt through a couple of gigabits of electronic data as it would be a porter cabin full of boxes. You're just doing it in a different method. The time it's going to take, the cost it's going to give you is another major headache. And that takes me on to my next point, costs. Physically, it costs you money to store these things. My fictional porter cabin again, you had to buy it. You bought it for a purpose. It probably wasn't for storing things. Now you're storing things in it. Does it have electricity? Well, yeah, it probably does because it has lights on it. You're having to heat it in the winter. All of this costs you money to keep bits of paper safe that you don't need anymore. So get rid of it. And you think, oh, well, it's a computer, it's on my hard drive. It's fine. It's no problem. Even for a small business, you're going to have some sort of maintenance contract on your hardware for keeping it up to date, for moving it on. You're going to have to then bring it into somebody when it breaks. If you're going to take your computer into PC World to get them to fix it and all the rest of it, think about all the personal data that's on there before you hand it over to PC World. Again, because you need to get this fixed, and you've exposed so many terabytes of data to PC World because it was all stored on this one server. It brings you into backups. People have backups of backups of backups of backups. You're only supposed to have a backup. If you're hoarding and hoarding and hoarding, what your backup was for was probably for disaster recovery. It wasn't for your record management system. So these are just the things you've got to think about, because it brings you into the subject access request. Before, it didn't used to be everybody's thing to worry about, but now the DPA 18, pretty much anybody can be subject to subject access requests. And you've got to, if they ask for every copy of the information that you hold about them, you have to make a reasonable effort to go and look for it. So that means trolling through that hard drive, trolling through that porter cabin or that storeroom to find that information. That costs you time, energy, money, motivation, and trust me, the fourth or fifth time you send the intern down to do it, he's going to pack up and go work somewhere else. I would. I absolutely hated hunting for the information. It's a nightmare, but you've got to go and do it. Um, the other thing about it I don't like about hoarding is I've seen it in the public sector especially. It creates a blame and an ass cover culture, predominantly, predominantly, predominantly around emails, because everybody hoards them emails and they keep them forever because it's my email. Good news for you, it's not your email in any way, shape, or form. If you sent it from the business or from the business account, it's the business account's email, and you have no actual legal lawful right to hold on to it once your reasons for processing it are over and done with. So again, people hold on to them to say, I did tell you to do that, or I didn't say that, and they pull things out from 2, 3 years, 4 years ago. It just shouldn't be happening. Those things should have been gone. Huge cultural shift, never going to happen overnight, but understand that holding on to it can be just as dangerous as letting it go. I think that's it. That's it. Yeah, so I covered all my own points. Just checking my notes there. So that's the dangers that I see of all extensive hoarding, and the way to combat that is a good retention and records management policy or procedure, and that's what I'm going to talk about in my next video. Speak to you soon. Thanks, guys.